The Thing is my favourite horror film of all time, and it's less to do with the disturbing and elaborate body horror it's famous for, and more about the genuine palpable sense of paranoia that I feel very few other films have been able to replicate to the same effect.
Nobody trusts anybody now.
And this is long before the shapeshifting even begins, as the opening scenes perfectly characterise the disgruntled tone of the story that takes precedence over the horror. Not as much time is spent with the creature as you might expect. In fact, in contrast to the novella it's based on, John Carpenter places far greater priority on creating a human drama as opposed to the book's scientific jargon. When we first encounter the research team, the absence of any notable action until MacReady pours his whiskey into a computer after losing a game of chess to it highlights the psychology of the men.
Cheating bitch.
They're bored, frustrated, cynical, and have been isolated in the same frozen wilderness with the same group of people for quite some time, just waiting for something or someone to figuratively and or literally explode. The creature doesn't actually create the tension, it only escalates one that naturally already exists. As a result, it doesn't unite the men into working together to fight it off like the 1951 adaptation, it only intensifies their personal hostilities beyond the tipping point the film has already established. The hypotheses used to understand how the thing operates is minimalized to maintain constant mystery and tension, and brings out the sense of humanity that's missing from the book.
I'm tired of talking fix. I just want to get up to my shack and get drunk.
Mac, it's important.
What is it?
Outside.
It's 40 below outside.
In the thiacal. Please, Mac.
With the science condensed, the film is free to have a much more sympathetic narrative that is still tonally identical to the source material. For example, the film omits information like the telepathy of the creature and instead implies ideas predominantly through visuals so that the emotion takes center stage to the action.
MacReady, I know Bennings. I've known him for 10 years. He's my friend.
You gotta burn the rest of them.
In retrospect, for as visually shocking as 22-year-old Rob Bottin's creature effects are, it isn't entirely the centerpiece to the film. It serves more to heighten how perpetually indescribable the thing is in both the eyes of the man and the audience, which is verified by how much screen time is given to the reactions of the characters as opposed to simply boasting grotesque body horror.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Either the creature design is too vague to clarify like in the book, or too distorted to articulate rationally. Subsequently, the obscurity of the thing synergizes with the dense Antarctic atmosphere to reinforce the men's disorientation found throughout the film. Like the characters, it's hard to make sense of what's actually going on, which, in essence, makes how unbelievable everything is seem that much more believable. The fact that the actors shot their scenes in full thermal snow gear in a sound studio during an exhausting summer heatwave adds to the authenticity of their performances. I actually attributed this as the main issue for the 2011 remake, I mean prequel. It ironically tries so hard to imitate Carpenter's film that it neglects such a strong cast of characters, making for quite an underwhelming experience because there isn't enough emotional engagement to find any of the horror truly compelling. The strength of Carpenter's production is how involved the actors were in making these characters feel humanized without traditional character development. Off-screen, the actors got on extremely well, both personally and professionally, which makes their on-screen relationships feel that much more passionate and sincere. We learn little to nothing about them, but their interactions with each other make their personalities the only real substantial clarity that the film provides.
Somebody, get a hold of anybody. We gotta report this mess.
Look, I haven't been able to reach shit in 2 weeks. I doubt if anybody's talked to anybody on this entire continent, and you want me to reach somebody.
It doesn't look like a movie focused on its performances for what it's selling you, but the fact is that the horror simply wouldn't have the same impact if it weren't for the energy and charisma exhibited by the cast.
Hey, thanks for thinking about it, though.
But that aside, it's worth acknowledging just how well the prequel connects to Carpenter's film. It provides a disturbing context to the Norwegian camp without diminishing the original's subtle impact, especially how the creature appears clumsy and aggressive in the first camp, and how it behaves with greater caution and calculation in the American camp due to the information it learns and adapts over time. As a result, the deceptive emotional miscommunication of the loving, harmless animal being attacked by the psychotic Norwegian in Carpenter's opening still carries the same presence of impending doom as our association with the flying saucer in the very first shot. Not only does it seamlessly transition, it also successfully communicates the anxious, anticipated tone that Carpenter translates from the novella. We've already put 2 and 2 together, so what we see and the characters don't make us fear for them, a tactic that the film uses constantly. Ever since the dog arrives, there are regular intervals in which the camera just lingers around empty rooms with an insinuated purpose, which invokes just as much disorientation as it does paranoia, making it virtually impossible to decipher who is the thing in later scenes. Stay with me here, but this works on top of the film's geographical metaphor, in which the indistinguishable and repetitive environment that feels eerily all too familiar makes us empathize with the character's physical and psychological entrapment.
Tell you what, why don't you just trust in the Lord?
The beauty of The Thing is that it exemplifies how rich and enticing knowing very little can be to the benefit of the story. It's a film in which you learn a lot with the characters through theorizing and contextualizing without the necessity of exposition or long-winded explanations that draw you away from the emotional impact it hits you with. For a film famous for its practical effects, they don't dominate the narrative or overshadow the performances that carry the film's overbearing tension. By the time you get to the conclusion, the haunting soundtrack drifts you into the credits without any sense of relief, cementing Carpenter's vision for a horror film that lived with you long after. The film wasn't a hit at the box office given how it inconveniently released the same day as Ridley Scott's Blade Runner, but that also carries a significance in how it emotionally responded with the audience. It was a downer of the film, which is theorized to be the main reason it failed with audiences, since Steven Spielberg's E.T. the Extraterrestrial released 2 weeks earlier and had a happier, more positive outlook on life. But there is an odd satisfaction that works in favour of the ambiguity Carpenter adds. The ending doesn't feel like an ending. It feels like we're still left in the shoes of Macready and Childs, just sitting, waiting, pondering over a lingering uncertainty that there's something out there not like our own. It taps into the mindset of American paranoia at the time, where UFO sightings became an absurdly common thing in the media, and political tensions sparked an intense social unrest. The Thing doesn't sugarcoat its realism. It's the engagement with the mystery rather than the assumption of fact that lives with me. When it's just a theory or a guess, the unknowingness will eventually come to devour you. Hi guys, thanks for watching. It's great to be back. It's going to take a while to get back into the swing of things because I'm getting used to new hardware and new software. Over on Patreon you can get 24 hours advanced access to content, get your name in the credits, get access to bonus videos, and of course you can help choose future videos. Until then, stay safe and I'll see you all very soon. Ooh, it's weird to be back.